Hi, Gabby. It's Miss Strother, and we are going to go through now your essay. I'm going to quickly go through and find the really basic things that you could do to make your essay sound better or to get more points on the rubric for your final exam project. And then I'm going to go through and read your essay and find ways that we can add, improve, and get you more points there as well. Now, it looks a little funky right now, and the reason is I took it from Google Docs, so I can kind of play with it and put it into a Word document. But even here, it's a little bit off, so let's work on this. So clearly your name, oh, that's very strange. Let's see what we can do. Okay, you probably don't want to try to add a whole bunch of spaces. Okay, let's get rid of this because you should have a unique title. It's very clear in your rubric here. I also don't want to know about 4B. I want to hear that you're in world literature, and I want you to say that it is Miss Strother's class. And then here in the middle, so you push Control E to get it to the middle. So don't do bullet points or don't do spaces here. Your job is to simply push tab one time. That's how you get that space. Do not try to do a whole bunch of space bars. You need to use the tab button on the top left. Okay, don't forget here, Control E to go into the middle to create a title. I'm going to take this back off so that now I can just read it without having to see what you had done with it. But that's a very cool tool to have access to. I typically prefer for it to say June 5th, 6th. I imagine you guys did that on the 5th of 2014 to spell it out, but that's also a matter of personal preference. The only thing here is that this really is backwards. Okay, make sure you got a title. And I'm going through, I see already we have got a contraction, so that's kind of a problem. You want to take that out. I can see that you're talking again as though you were using personal pronouns and then tried to take it out. So try to write your essay without any of these kinds of things. I can see Oedipus, the 20 things boys can do to become men, which should be capitalized because it is a title. You don't need this. Written by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Masks, which was written by Lucy Greeley. Oh my gosh, please take those out. Okay, all three of these books are about someone's perspective on life using the, all right. Now we're going to go through, I can see some quotes. I see quotes within quotes, and I'm going to show you how to correctly go ahead and do the quotation marks on those. Now, I don't see the parenthetical in-text citation, which is the page number. So you've got to work on that. You've got to figure out how to put the page numbers in there, and come see me if you need some additional support on that. If it's possible you did them for other ones, let's see. Nope, still don't see it down here. Or in Masks, you absolutely have to have parenthetical in-text citations. It's only 2 points on your rubric, but it is 2 out of 70, which tends to make more of an impact than you would like. Okay, make sure whenever you're doing commas with those quotation marks that you've got the comma on the inside. I don't know if we need to use other people's information or people's quotes in order to make your writing sound better, but let's read through it and see what we get. Okay. The theme of going through a journey is a very important role in stories and in life. I don't know if a theme is usually considered an important role, but you could definitely work on that. Okay, and the other thing is you want to be very careful not to engage in speculation, which is this. Without a journey, there's no destination. Without a journey, there is no story. You want to, that actually tends to undermine your argument and make you sound like you're throwing stuff, like throwing pasta at the wall. You're not actually saying anything, you're just throwing stuff. That's the best analogy I have at the moment. So you want to say something instead of, there's every journey has a destination, and every journey is its own story, and has its own interesting pieces and something like that. So take it how you want, but make sure that you are not engaging in speculation. You need to take that out. Okay, a journey is about the struggles or obstacles that you go through in life to get to the end results, which may not always be worth how hard the journey was. Ouch! Whew! That is that's quite a judgment call, and I find that rather individual, and incredibly depressing, and definitely not what the 3 pieces of literature you have chosen to work with are trying to convey. It's not their message whatsoever. So make sure you're staying with your pieces of literature so that you are continuing to argue with them. If you start doing too many things that are opposite, then it starts to get uncomfortable and awkward. So let's not do that. Okay, the 3 selections. All right. No. 3 pieces of literature. Let's do that. Besides, are the following is a little bit awkward too. Okay. 3 pieces of literature that include journeys with such struggles and obstacles are Oedipus, which was written by Sophocles, 20 Things Boys Can Do to Become Men, capitalized, which was written by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Masks, which was written by Lucy Greeley. Yep, let's put commas here. So Masks is not, so these are not books, so make sure that you are very clear about that. All of these 3, you could say pieces of literature, stories, because you have an article or an essay, you have a piece of an autobiography, nonfiction piece, and a very, very old play. So there are 3 very different pieces of literature, which is cool. Very cool that you are able to pull them all together and to really use different types of evidence to prove something. So don't try to downplay it by saying they're all the same thing. So I maybe it's not stories, maybe go back to pieces of literature. Okay, are about someone's perspective on life using their knowledge and experiences. The theme of going through a long and hard journey has an impact on literature in Oedipus, comma goes here, 20 Things Boys Can Do to Become Men, capitalized with a comma here, and Masks. The theme of going through a journey has an impact on literature in Oedipus. Usually a comma is where you take a bit of a pause. So you would not, if you were reading it to me, say, the theme of going through a journey has an impact on literature in Oedipus. That wouldn't be how you would read it naturally, and if you did, you would probably put this instead. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, the oracle at Delphi said, okay, so I think what you want to do is give a tiny bit more background knowledge on the front end of your quote. That's what that whole background info or supporting evidence is you want to explain that a boy was born unto a king and queen and that they went to go find out more information, or they wanted to go hear prophecy regarding their son, but they found out instead that here the child his queen Jocasta was carrying was fated to kill his father and marry his mother. Okay, why do we have another quotation here? If you could explain that to me, then you can keep it, but otherwise it shouldn't be there. When Oedipus was born, the king ordered a servant to take the child away and abandon him in the mountains. Now, this is probably on page 1, so let's do it like this. Okay, that is how Oedipus's journey had begun. So make sure you're saying either in the present tense or in the past tense. Pick one. You shift very, very quickly from this, which is a very short piece of analysis, and we're going to talk about I'm going to give you some other ways you can analyze this. And the next thing, which is that the Sphinx let out a horrible scream, but I don't know who the Sphinx is or why she let out that horrible scream in despair. Yeah, you need to have a little bit more of a transition here. So let's talk about this. Oedipus's journey began or begins, depending on, you should be staying in the present tense, so that would be begins with a prophecy that disturbs his parents into abandoning him. But it is truly only the beginning of his journey that, let's see, how does it have an impact? You have to decide. I might talk about how the impact is on the reader and how the reader feels so terribly sad for this boy who has been killed on the belief that someone else could know what his fate is, or maybe that it is a good thing that this whole story is so much more interesting, because that's the impact, is that the story is much more interesting because there's a twist, and that this huge obstacle has been placed in their way. That's one thing. So I would work on that. And then you could say later on in his journey, he encountered the Sphinx and managed to make her throw her own self to her death. So that's how you could do that. Okay, now here you've got one sentence in between it, two quotes. It specifically states that in your rubric that you've got to be careful not to do that. This means to me that we're not getting in any analysis. It's how he quickly earned the trust of the people of Thebes, but that's just part of his journey. That the part of the journey where he earns their trust and makes them think that they can now be safe, that they can relax and their journey is safe, and yet it's only one piece of his journey. Okay, so it looks to me like what you really need to do is go through and take out, see here you have too many quotes and no analysis. So you're giving me the story of what's happening to Oedipus, but this is not a narrative, this is an essay, and you are analyzing what is happening. So I'm going to have you work on that. I'm going to read through your other paragraphs on my own, but I only have 2 more minutes on my screencast here, so I've got to get to your conclusion. Okay, here we go. The theme of journey has an impact on literature in Oedipus, 20 Things Boys Can Do to Become Men, and Masks. The journey in the book, in the play, because it's not a book, Oedipus, is that you decide, is that people decide where their path in life will lead them. Towards your fate or away from him, or away from it. Okay, that's good. In the article, 20 Things Boys Can Do to Become Men, readers see that their journey is that whoa. Okay, fix this because it's awkward and I don't hear a sentence in it. Another way to explain that theme would be to say that you are not alone. Maybe you could say another lesson we learn from the theme of journey is that we as human beings are not alone. The journey of, or maybe the journey in Masks, is that people will try to put you down, but you have to just keep your head held up high and remember that you are not alone. Readers learn from these stories that life may have obstacles, but maybe we need to make the most of it. I can see what you're saying. Because it is your journey. Acceptable. People say that the journey is more important than the destination. Maybe that is true. Then again, okay. All right. I have 20 seconds. I would take this out. And otherwise, No, I would take these out. I would take both of these out just to have like a nice soft ending to your paragraph instead of this. But otherwise, you're doing very well.